I can understand now why all this old wounding and all this old patterning was coming forward into the surface, because what I did not realize on Lionsgate 2026, just this past Friday, was that my body, my soul, my nervous system was actually preparing me to be in sacred union and sacred partnership with my now fiancé going forward. So what I want you to know is that your brain and body and your soul is always preparing you, is always initiating you for your next level and your next phase of expansion. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you, beautiful soul, for tuning in to another episode. I am coming to you today, the day after the closing of the Lionsgate portal and the new moon in Leo eclipse. What a massive, massive month of transformation it has been. I have been noticing in my personal life and in my practice people going through some major transformations and initiations so that they can step fully into alignment with their divine purpose, their path, and what it is that they are cultivating and calling in this next season. So if you've been following me for a while, you understand that Lionsgate is a time that I take very seriously. I do a 3-day water fast. I release all of the things that I am ready to let go of that I don't want to take with me in the next year. And then I look at what I'm ready to receive, embody, and cultivate with the year to come. And as I reflect back on this major life expansion that I've really been under the last 5 years, I can honestly say that Lionsgate has always been the time where massive change comes in. So for those of you that don't know anything about Lionsgate, it is a time that the Egyptians and our ancient ancestors really used to cultivate their intentions and their manifestations for the years to come. It is believed that the star Sirius is closest to the sun, where they look at our spiritual sun, where the veil is very, very thin for us to be able to communicate to source, to God, the universe, the angelic realm, whatever language you want to put on that is welcome here, where you actually are a open channel to ask for what it is that you're ready to release and what you're ready to cultivate and what you want to embody and what you want to call in going forward. So my very first Lionsgate experience was probably about 3 years ago, where I sort of did it quickly with one of my spiritual teachers, Kaya Ra, who wrote the books The Sophia Code, and we channeled the Divine Feminine Christ Ascended Masters and Circle of Empowerment. And that year was the year that I really wanted to get clear on my relationship with money. And I wanted to break through the poverty consciousness and move into prosperity consciousness so that I could actually start to change my divine blueprint from what it is that I cultivated in the first half of my life. So as you can imagine, what happens when we set intentions, a lot came to the forefront around how I was using the energy of money to actually create more struggle, lack, poverty, suffering when it came to my finances, where I was very much living quote unquote paycheck to paycheck, even though I owned my own business. I had this feast or famine cycle where I never actually felt like there was enough money. I couldn't afford certain things. I was either spending it all or quote unquote blowing it all, or I had nothing left in the bank to show financial security or what it was that I ultimately wanted to create and cultivate. So I very quickly learned that there was a part of me that was programmed to believe that there would never be enough. So if you struggle with that, if that is something that you choose to work on or that you want me to talk more about, I absolutely am for that. Just leave it in the chat, send me a message, and we absolutely can talk more about how to transform our relationship with our finances and the energy or frequency of money. Mine just so happened when it came to debt. I had manifested a lot of debt that came through COVID, that came through being a single mom and running my own business, and all of it falling on me, and really just being the only one that was responsible for the financial outcome of my life. So once I actually used the Lionsgate portal to change my relationship with money, things just started to come easily. Things started to come quickly. I developed the belief that God gives me my clients. I don't find my clients. It's not my work and my marketing and the things that I'm putting out there. It's the energy and frequency of what I'm cultivating and what I'm creating that actually changes my financial reality and outcome. And I can confidently say 3 years later, I am consistently bringing in the amount of income that I want because I changed how I view this resource and how God, Spirit, the universe wants to support me with this frequency. So it was a very, very big deep dive. Year 2 in Lionsgate, I followed a woman named Erin Lyons, where I absolutely was very confident in not only changing my energy with money, but also changing what I wanted in my life. So I joined her ceremony to cultivate what it was that I wanted in this next phase of expansion. And I had to get very, very honest with myself about what it was that wasn't working for me. So if you've heard me talk in the past, I had a lot of great things going on in my life. I was feeling in line and activated spiritually. Things were going incredibly well when it came to how happy I was in my daily life. But if I was really honest with myself, something was missing. And that something that was missing was divine partnership. And I knew in my body, mind, and soul that there was a person out there for me. God had created someone for me. I had just not met them yet. So what I wrote down in 2025 was that I am ready for my counterpart. I'm ready for this person to come into my life and to support me and to be there for me and my son and to help correct all the wrongs so that I didn't have to feel alone anymore and so that I didn't have to do this life on my own. And it just so happened that right when I made that list saying that not only was I ready for more expansion, I was ready for more income, impact, influence, and I was ready for more adventure and ready to have my partner walk by my side. And I absolutely met him that day on 8/8 of 2025. So when I tell you that this portal is powerful, believe me, it is powerful. And lo and behold, he never left my side since. I went through a massive year of working through parts of me that were activated and challenged by love. I honestly had an inner child in me, a younger part of me that felt very terrified of allowing love in because my blueprint of love was love meant pain. Love meant that it could be taken away. Love meant distrust. And so organically, as I'm in this beautiful partnership with this safe man, a lot of that stuff started to come to the surface in the first year of being with him. And I look back on the last month, specifically with Independence Day, or D-Day we call it, or I call it, around a part of me that came forward that was highly triggered. And I realized that it was my inner child that felt like he was withdrawing his love for me, or he thought that I did something wrong, where I was very, very triggered on 4th of July, where he started walking ahead of me and my son. He was a little bit agitated, having his own human experience, which we all do, totally normal. But what my brain associated that with was rejection. He's going to leave me. He's going to abandon me. And all the stuff came to the surface. So the rage part of me came out, like a very protective part of me came forward, where we got into, I would say, the biggest disruption of our relationship so far, where I was trying to calm myself down. I couldn't do it. The fury that was burning through my body felt so intense. I had to go take a walk. I had to come back. To his credit, he didn't react. He stood there. He took it all. Oh my gosh, this poor man. And he did not leave. Like, he let me essentially have my emotional temper tantrum. And I was just like, you know what? I don't have the capacity to keep it together tonight. I need to go to bed. I'm not okay. I got to figure out what's going on in me. So if you are ever highly triggered, if you're ever highly agitated, if you ever have that part of you come forward, know that it's being arranged or meant for it to come forward for yourself to actually take a look at it, because there's something there for you to continue to work through, whether that is abandonment, rejection, distrust, feeling unwanted, feeling unchosen, feeling like you're going to be, hold on one second, let me pause. Okay, so if you ever have a rage part of you that comes forward, know that that feminine rage, that feminine anger, that protector part is meant to actually protect you from pain. So underneath it is always some inner wounding that needs your attention, that is actually coming up to the surface for you to look at, for you to re-experience it, for you to reorganize it and adjust to it in a new way. It does not mean you're going backwards. It doesn't mean you're failing. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It means that there's things for us to heal and take care of on our side of the fence. So oftentimes we will unconsciously test our partners to see how our partner is going to handle this part of us, which is the case of what came forward on 4th of July. It was almost as if I was very co-conscious of the fact around, am I going to be rejected or am I going to be abandoned if he sees this part of me that is imperfect, that is angry, that can't keep it together, that completely in some ways lost control? Because in the past, my programming, and I know a lot of women's programming and patterning, is this part of us is unacceptable, this part of us is unlovable, this part of us is going to be rejected and abandoned if we're not the nice girl. So if you actually need to work through that, if that comes up in you, I invite you to check out my last video on the parts that we reject actually hold the keys to our freedom, because they come forward and they come to the surface in order for us to look at it. And that led for me in a series of, again, working with my 3-year-old inner child that was severely abandoned, rejected, and abused by my biological father, that needed comfort, that needed clarity, that needed reassurance, that needed to know that I was with a safe man. We unconsciously test these things because it's just natural. It's so part of our human experience that we can't avoid it. We can't escape it, even if we tried. And that led to this whole month before Lionsgate of working through the wounding that came up in me that was triggered by him literally just walking away to compose himself. I didn't take it that way. Obviously, I had some things to work through and some things to address and things to get reassurance on. And so this year, Lionsgate led to the week before me being highly triggered and highly activated on a camping trip with my mother and my son, where it ultimately led to me feeling alone and crying because my mom wanted to go to sleep. She was working the next morning. She had things to do. And my inner child took that as, what the hell did I do all this work for? I'm sitting by this campfire by myself, alone, abandoned, rejected again. I'm very familiar with my stuff, But I look at that as the culmination or the pot stirring before the transformation and the next phase of expansion can come in, because we are always being initiated into our next level. How much can you comfort yourself? How much can you give yourself grace? How much can you forgive yourself for being perfectly imperfect human? And that was a very, what I call, powerful portal for me to address what I needed to address on my side of the fence when it came to what was coming up in me and what needed to be healed within me. So it just so happens that right after that camping trip, I was home on Monday and I was running a 7-day Lionsgate challenge for my audience that was moving from people pleasing and perfection into the sovereign, self-led, soul-led woman that can make conscious choices, be embodied, and not feel like she needs to earn love from other people. So the medicine that I teach is also the things that I am working through personally in my current life, because everything on the outside is actually a reflection on what's going on the inside. So it led to me working through a lot of this stuff. And I can understand now why all this old wounding and all this old patterning was coming forward into the surface, because what I did not realize on Lionsgate 2026, just this past Friday, was that my body, my soul, my nervous system was actually preparing me to be in sacred union and sacred partnership with my now fiancé going forward. So what I want you to know is that your brain and body and your soul is always preparing you, is always initiating you for your next level and your next phase of expansion. It has to remove the old programming. It has to bring it to the surface in order for you to look at it in a new way and in order for you to evolve out of it, so that you don't have to carry it energetically into your next step, into your next phase. So in some ways, I look at all the things that happened in the last month to be able to say, like, oh, my soul, my higher self actually knew that this man, my partner, my counterpart, was planning to propose to me. So I actually had to go through these activations and these initiations, not only to see if he would accept all of me and the full totality of who I am as a woman with all of my emotional experiences, and if I wouldn't lose myself in the relationship. So many of us women have these habits of being whatever it is that our partner needs us to be in order to be accepted. And we reject ourselves or we abandon ourselves in the relationship. So I know now that actually, because my soul knew that I was preparing for long-term sacred union, that all this stuff had to come forward and had to be on the table so that I could fully feel confident with saying yes to this union that was divinely orchestrated by my higher self and the heart and mind of God to bring us together in this place. So I'm now entering 2026 Lionsgate as an engaged woman, preparing to literally give my body, heart, mind, and soul to this man, to trust and lead me and my son and our family into these next years, which is very, very serious to me and very sacred to me. And I knew that I wouldn't be able to enter into that partnership if there was any part of me that was willing to abandon me for love. That's the old pattern and that's the old program. So you have to get to a place where you're so comfortable and confident with yourself that you can put all of you on the table to be able to accept in divine partnership and divine union, which means you have to clear up what's on your side of the fence when it comes to hating men, feeling like all men are bad, feeling like none of them are available, feeling like you're too broken or you're too wounded or you're not enough. All of that has to be put on the table in order to be healed, transmuted, alchemized, so that you can come into your own sense of confidence with who you are and what you have to give, because it takes a woman in her feminine energy to be able to support the masculine in his masculine energy. When you have two people that are competing for control or competing for attention to heal the wounds, then you enter into a karmic bond and not a sacred supportive bond where both of you are whole, both of you are complete, both of you have your own individual relationship with God, source, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And then you can join together because you have this Kundalini energy running through you that is the spinning of that life force, life-giving energy of the creator. It's two wholes come together and then they create and represent source, which means like the bride and the groom of Christ. The masculine and feminine energy of Christ consciousness can then co-create and work together to create what is the embodiment of divine love, is the embodiment of the marriage that was meant to catapult you into your highest level or highest phase, which I do believe is available to each and every one of us if we want to cultivate that and if we want to create that. So every single year, what has been my truth and my experience is that Lionsgate is the portal for massive transformation. I worked through my relationship with money. I manifested my divine counterpart into my life. I am now entering 2026 as an engaged woman that gets to have her heaven on earth reality. I literally changed and created the reality that I want to be living in because I chose to do that inner work, which is available to each and every one of us. And I want to let you know that you get to have whatever it is that you want in your life. But it is your beliefs and your perceptions about what you believe about yourself, about men, about women, about what's possible for you, and about God, about the creator, about Christ consciousness, about the energy that is flowing through you, that is beating through your body, heart, and mind and rearranging things in your outer reality to give you your desires. But you have to believe that that's possible, right? You have to know that you have authority over all darkness and all limiting beliefs in this realm. So I encourage you to write down what it is that you desire. Write down what it is that you're ready to release. Write down what it is that you ultimately want and what it would feel like to be there. Because as you start to embody it, as you start to believe it, then your manifestations start happening quicker. My counterpart came into my life in a day. My life radically changed when I wrote down my list on Lionsgate and said, I am ready to join my life with this man, not even knowing that he was going to propose to me the day before Lionsgate, because he said, I know that this time is important to you and I don't want you to go into 2026. I don't want us to go into 2026 without us being in union together and us living our lives together and creating the life that we want. I don't want to do it alone anymore, and I don't want to do it without you. Which is why he picked out a ring that already had the wedding band attached to it, because he said, I feel like we are already married in spirit and I want to make it official in the physical. So I say this to you to share the story, to give you so much hope and so much encouragement that you are on the right path. You are doing the work that you need to do in order to manifest all of your dreams coming true. But it is our job to clean out our garden, to clean out the thoughts that are in our brain that are telling us that it's not possible and that we can't have it and that we're not good enough and we're not worthy enough of it or we're worthy of it or we're not deserving of it. All of that needs to be uprooted and picked out of your consciousness and out of the garden of your brain so that you can implant the seeds for Spirit, God, and Source to give you the desires of your heart. You change your outer reality by changing your inner belief system around what is possible for you and about the loving intelligence that created you. So I say this to you today so that you can actually get very, very, very clear on what it is about what you want and what it is that you do not. Because I am walking proof that every single thing that you want in this life is not only possible for you, you are attracting it to you by doing your inner work and by staying committed to your own path. No one else has the desires in your heart that you do. No one else can tell you what is right for you. No one else can tell you that you are doing it right or doing it wrong. That is an inner job. That is an inner job. You are directly connected to the heart and mind of God through your own brain and body. So clear out the noise and just continue to trust the path. We are all on an upward trajectory, and we have to make a choice. Are we going to choose the path of love? Are we going to choose the path of co-creation? Are we going to choose the path of awakening? Or are we going to stay asleep and tied to a slave matrix that wants to suck the life out of our soul? I believe that you are here for a reason. I believe that you are here on purpose. And I believe that you can have any single thing that you want in your life. Staying attached to the practical and doing the deeper work and having full faith in the authority that was created in you when Christ came and gave you that power over this earthly realm. You are chosen. You are here on purpose. And it is only your doubt that can delay your divine destiny. So it is through the path of self-acceptance and regaining your inner authority that you get to have everything that you want. What is it? What is it? Don't be afraid. Write it down. Dig deep. I'll see you in the next episode.